The Los Angeles skyline shimmered under a balmy 80-degree summer evening, ablaze with the vibrant bursts of 4th of July fireworks. The Sunset Palace Hotel, a sprawling 30,000-square-foot beacon of luxury nestled along Sunset Boulevard, stood as the epicenter of the night's grandeur. Its gleaming glass facade reflected the reds, whites, and blues exploding across the sky, while the hum of the nearby I-405 freeway faded beneath the chatter of Hollywood's elite. Inside, the grand ballroom buzzed with the clink of champagne flutes, the flash of cameras, and the laughter of celebrities, moguls, and philanthropists gathered for the annual Stars for Charity Gala. Tables draped in star-spangled linens groaned under platters of barbecue ribs, crispy fried chicken, and warm slices of apple pie, quintessential American staples that lent a patriotic warmth to the otherwise opulent affair. The scent of smoky sauce and buttery crust mingled with designer perfumes, and a live band played a jazzy rendition of Sweet Home Alabama, setting a festive mood that echoed the nation's birthday. For the world outside, it was a night of glamour, a showcase of wealth and fame under the glow of a 15-foot crystal chandelier. But for Rosa Alvarez, a 50-year-old single mother and former Navy nurse, it was just another grueling 12-hour shift, pushing a 60-pound cleaning cart through the hotel's dimly lit service corridors. Rosa's navy blue uniform clung to her sweat-dampened skin as she maneuvered her cart, laden with mops, bleach, and trash bags, through the labyrinthine back halls of the Sunset Palace. The faint crackle of her small radio, tuned to a classic rock station playing Springsteen's Born in the USA, was her only companion as she scrubbed away smudges and swept up confetti from the gala's red, white, and blue decorations. Her hands, calloused from years of service first in military hospitals tending to wounded soldiers, now in the less glamorous role of a janitor, moved with practiced efficiency. Yet, her mind was 12 miles away, in a 600-bed hospital where her 8-year-old son, Liam, lay tethered to monitors and IV lines. Liam's rare heart condition, a merciless thief of his childhood, demanded $3,000 a month in medical bills, a sum that gnawed at Rosa's 16 an hour wage, like a relentless tide eroding ashore. Every paycheck, every overtime shift, was a lifeline to keep Liam's heart beating, to afford the surgeries and medications that gave him a fighting chance. In the quiet moments between tasks, Rosa's thoughts drifted to Liam's smile, frail but radiant, and the way his eyes lit up when he spoke of his hero, Keanu Reeves. At 4 feet tall, with a mop of dark curls and a sketchbook never far from his side, Liam found solace in the world of movies. His hospital room, a 10 by 12-foot space with pale green walls, was plastered with posters of John Wick, The Matrix, and Speed. Under the glow of a 40-watt bedside lamp, he spent hours sketching scenes of Keanu's characters: John Wick's steely glare, Neo's flowing trench coat, Jack Traven's determined stance. Each drawing was a rebellion against the illness that kept him from running or playing like other kids. "Mom," he'd whispered during her last visit, clutching his sketchbook to his chest. "If you ever meet Keanu, will you get his autograph for me?" Promise. His voice, barely above a whisper, carried a hope so pure it pierced Rosa's heart. She'd hesitated. Promises were dangerous in a life where so much was uncertain, but the spark in Liam's eyes, dimmed by pain but never extinguished, had undone her. "I promise, mijo," she'd said, brushing his curls. "If I ever get the chance, I'll bring you his autograph." Tonight, that chance stood just beyond the service door, in the glittering chaos of the gala. Rosa paused, her hand grazing the small sketchbook tucked in her apron pocket, its pages filled with Liam's meticulous drawings and one blank sheet reserved for Keanu's signature. She peeked through a crack in the door, her heart pounding like a drum. There he was, Keanu Reeves, his 6-foot frame clad in a simple black suit, moving through the crowd with a grace that stood out amid the extravagance. Unlike the other stars, who breezed past fans with practiced smiles, Keanu lingered, listening to a young actress's story, nodding with genuine warmth. His kindness, a quiet legend in Hollywood, was no myth. Rosa's fingers tightened around the sketchbook, her pulse racing. The hotel's unspoken rule was clear: staff were invisible, forbidden from interacting with guests. 20 years of cleaning up after the rich and famous had taught her to stay in the shadows, to never cross that line. But Liam's voice echoed in her mind, his frail hand clutching that sketchbook, his hope a beacon in her weary world. What if she failed him? What if she walked away? And Liam's dream stayed just that, a dream. Rosa thought of her Navy days, of carrying 80-pound medical packs through desert heat, of saving lives under pressure. She'd faced fear before. She could face it now. Yet, the stakes felt higher tonight. Losing her job could mean losing the ability to pay for Liam's $3,000 treatments, the hospital visits, the rent on their modest 800-square-foot apartment. Still, she saw Liam's face, his eyes bright with belief in her promise. That was enough. Taking a deep breath, Rosa straightened her shoulders, her navy-honed resolve steeling her nerves. She slipped the sketchbook from her pocket, its worn cover a testament to Liam's dreams, and stepped toward the ballroom's edge. The fireworks outside burst in a cascade of color, their booms echoing her heartbeat. This was her moment, not for herself, but for the boy who needed a hero, and for the promise that bound them. Little did Rosa know, this single act of courage, born of a mother's love, would spark a chain of events that would touch a nation's heart, proving that in America, one small gesture could ignite a wave of kindness no one would forget. Rosa Alvarez pushed her 60-pound cleaning cart through the shadowed service corridors of the Sunset Palace Hotel, the faint hum of Sweet Home Alabama crackling from her radio. The Los Angeles night outside glowed with 4th of July fireworks, their bursts visible through the ballroom's 15-foot windows, where guests sipped iced tea and nibbled on juicy burgers piled high with American cheese. Rosa's Navy uniform clung to her, her hands aching from scrubbing the 30,000-square-foot venue. But her thoughts were 12 miles away, with her 8-year-old son, Liam, in his hospital bed, his frail body battling a heart condition costing $3,000 a month. In her apron pocket, she felt the weight of Liam's sketchbook, its pages filled with vivid John Wick drawings, and one blank sheet, reserved for Keanu Reeves's autograph, a promise she'd made to her son. In a quiet moment, Rosa peeked into the ballroom. Keanu Reeves, his 6-foot frame calm amid the gala's chaos, stood out in a simple black suit. Unlike the hurried celebrities around him, he lingered, chatting warmly with a fan. Rosa's heart pounded. The hotel's no-guest interaction rule loomed, a threat to her 16-hour job. But she saw Liam in her mind's eye, in his 10-by-12-foot hospital room, sketching under a 40-watt lamp. "Mom, will Keanu like my drawings?" he'd whispered, his 4-foot frame curled around his sketchbook, eyes bright with hope despite the IV lines. That memory steeled her. Rosa clutched the sketchbook, her Navy nurse resolve kicking in, and stepped forward, weaving past guests in star-spangled attire. "Mr. Reeves, I'm sorry to bother you," Rosa said, her voice trembling. "My son, Liam, he's sick, a heart condition. He's your biggest fan. Could you sign this for him?" She held out the sketchbook, hands shaking. Keanu's eyes softened. No trace of irritation. "Of course, Liam, huh?" He flipped through the pages, his face lighting up at Liam's sketches of John Wick's sleek suits and Neo's Matrix green code. "This kid's got serious talent," he said, genuinely touched, Rosa's throat tightened as Keanu wrote, "To Liam, keep fighting like a hero." Keanu Reeves, his pen steady on the blank page. "Tell Liam to keep drawing," he added, handing it back with a warm nod. Rosa clutched the sketchbook to her chest, tears pricking her eyes. She'd kept her promise. The fireworks outside exploded in a red, white-blue cascade, mirroring her soaring heart. But as she turned away, a cold voice loomed, threatening to shatter everything. Rosa Alvarez's heart still soared from Keanu Reeves's kind words as she clutched Liam's sketchbook. The ink of his autograph, "To Liam, keep fighting like a hero." Keanu Reeves fresh on the page. But her triumph shattered when a sharp voice cut through the 4th of July gala's din. "Rosa, my office, now." It was Ms. Helen Porter, the Sunset Palace Hotel's rigid manager, her eyes cold as the 75-degree Los Angeles night outside. Rosa followed, her 60-pound cleaning cart abandoned, into a stark 10 by 10-foot office tucked behind the 30,000-square-foot ballroom. The faint pop of fireworks faded, replaced by the hum of a fluorescent bulb. Porter, impeccably dressed in a navy blazer, crossed her arms. "You know the rule, no interacting with guests. You're fired." Rosa's stomach plummeted. "Ms. Porter, please," she pleaded, her voice steady despite the panic. "This job pays for my son Liam's $3,000 heart treatments. He's only 8 in the hospital 12 miles away. It was just an autograph." Porter's face remained stone. "Rules are rules. Rosa, you've been here 15 years. You knew better." The words hit like a 50-pound weight, crushing Rosa's hope. Desperate, Rosa gripped the sketchbook, its edges worn from Liam's small hands. "I'm a single mom, a Navy nurse who served 10 years. This job is all we have." Porter was unmoved, her voice clipped. "Pack your things." Rosa's legs trembled, but her Navy-honed resilience forged in 120-degree F desert clinics kept her from breaking. She walked out, head high, into the 75-degree F night, the glow of 4th of July fireworks mocking her despair, clutching Liam's sketchbook. She pictured his 4-foot frame in his hospital bed, his question echoing Mom. "Will Keanu like my drawings?" How could she tell him she'd lost her 15-an-hour job, their lifeline for his $3,000 monthly medical bills? The I-405 freeway's hum droned in the distance as tears stung her eyes. But Rosa refused to let them fall. She'd find a way for Liam. Unbeknownst to Rosa, the hotel's arrogance amplified her injustice. Hours later, the Sunset Palace posted on X, "We uphold a professional environment for our guests." The smug statement, meant to quell whispers of Rosa's firing, backfired spectacularly. Guests at the gala, sipping iced tea amid burgers and apple pie, shared the post, sparking outrage. "Firing a mom for her sick kid's autograph disgusting," tweeted a Los Angeles teacher. By midnight, "Justice for Rosa" trended with 100,000 mentions, reflecting America's fury at corporate overreach. Rosa, walking the 2-mile route home, was unaware that her quiet act of courage had ignited a firestorm, one that Keanu Reeves would soon fan into a blaze of justice. In the glittering 30,000-square-foot ballroom of the Sunset Palace Hotel, the 4th of July gala pulsed with laughter and clinking glasses. But a quiet outrage was brewing. Javier, a 25-year-old waiter balancing a tray of iced tea, approached Keanu Reeves, his 6-foot frame leaning casually against a bar under the glow of a 15-foot chandelier. "Mr. Reeves," Javier whispered, glancing nervously at the crowd, savoring burgers and apple pie. "They fired Rosa, the janitor who asked for your autograph, for her sick son." Keanu's warm smile faded, his jaw tightening. Having known grief himself, losses that lingered in his quiet moments, he saw Rosa's love for her 8-year-old son, Liam, as a light worth protecting. Her $15 an hour job, funding Liam's $3,000 monthly heart treatments, was gone for a single act of kindness. Fired for an autograph, Keanu said, his voice low but sharp. That's not right, without hesitation. Keanu strode across the 200-foot ballroom, weaving past star-spangled tables, to confront Ms. Helen Porter, the hotel's rigid manager. "You fired a mom for her kid's dream," he asked, his calm tone edged with steel. "That's not policy. It's heartless." Porter, standing in her navy blazer, stiffened in the 10 by 10-foot corner where she monitored staff. "It's protocol, Mr. T. Reeves," she replied, unyielding. "Staff can't disrupt guests." Keanu's eyes narrowed. Disrupt. She was being a mother, unfazed by Porter's coldness. He pulled out his phone and typed a post on XA Hotel, fired a single mom for asking me for an autograph for her sick son. Kindness isn't a crime. Justice for Rosa. He hit send, and the 75-degree Los Angeles night, outside, seemed to hold its breath as fireworks burst beyond the hotel's 15-foot windows. Within hours, Keanu's post exploded, amassing 1 million retweets by dawn. America's outrage poured onto X, reflecting the nation's grassroots activism. A Texas firefighter tweeted, "Rosa's a hero for her son. Shame on that hotel," a New York teacher added. "Firing a mom over an autograph, disgusting." From Chicago to Miami, everyday Americans, baristas, nurses, veterans rallied behind justice for Rosa. Their tweets flooding the Sunset Palace's X account with demands for justice. The hotel's earlier post, smugly stating, "We uphold a professional environment," fueled the fire, its corporate tone clashing with the gala's patriotic warmth. Guests at the event, still clutching $10 beers, shared the hashtag, amplifying the storm. Keanu, watching the notification surge, knew Rosa's 12-mile walk home in the 75-degree off night was just the beginning. Her courage, sparked by a promise to Liam, had ignited a movement that would soon shake the Sunset Palace to its core. The Sunset Palace Hotel reeled under the Justice for Rosa storm, its 30,000-square-foot grandeur overshadowed by America's outrage on X. Facing a PR nightmare, Ms. Helen Porter, the hotel's steely manager, called Rosa Alvarez at dawn, her voice strained. "We made a mistake. Rosa, come back. We're offering a $5,000 bonus." Rosa, standing in her 800-square-foot apartment, clutched Liam's sketchbook, her 8-year-old son's $3,000 monthly heart treatments weighing on her mind. She accepted. But her Navy nurse grit sensed the hotel's backpedaling was due to Keanu Reeves's viral post, not remorse. Later, in a 10 by 10-foot office, Porter, shaken by 1 million retweets, met Rosa privately. "I was wrong," she admitted, handing over a $3,000 check for Liam's medical fund. Her eyes, usually cold, flickered with regret, marking a redemptive shift from her earlier rigidity. Los Angeles rallied around Rosa's courage. At a 5-acre Griffith Park, 400 locals gathered for a Hope for Liam barbecue, the air thick with the scent of hot dogs grilling and lemonade pitchers sweating in the 80-degree sun. A diner owner, Maria Gonzalez, offered Rosa a $20 an hour job, saying, "Your family now." The community's GoFundMe campaign soared, raising $250,000 in a week. Everyday Americans donated $10 from a Seattle barista, $50 from an Ohio veteran, $100 from a Texas nurse, reflecting the nation's giving spirit. A volunteer shared Liam's letter, penned in his 10 by 12-foot hospital room under a 40-watt lamp. "Mr. Reeves, you saved my mom. You're my hero." Posted on X. It went viral, amassing 2 million likes, with comments like, "Liam's a champ" from a Chicago teacher. The barbecue buzzed with American warmth. Kids played tag across 200-foot fields. A band strummed country roads, and donors swapped stories of Rosa's Navy service. Porter attended, her Navy blazer out of place among T-shirts, and quietly watched Rosa laugh with neighbors. Her $3,000 donation, though small compared to the GoFundMe, signaled a crack in her corporate armor, a nod to the community's call for compassion. Rosa, holding Liam's sketchbook with Keanu's autograph to Liam, "Keep fighting like a hero," felt hope rekindle. The $250,000 would secure Liam's treatments, and the diner job offered stability beyond her old 15 an hour wage. As the sun set, casting a 75-degree sharp glow over the park, Rosa realized her promise to her 4-foot-tall son had sparked a movement. Liam's letter, echoing across X, had turned their story into a beacon of kindness, setting the stage for a final act that would bring Keanu and Liam face to face. In the soft glow of a 600-bed Los Angeles hospital, Rosa Alvarez sat beside her 8-year-old son, Liam, in his 10 by 12-foot room, the hum of monitors blending with the 75-degree evening air drifting through an open window. Liam, 4 feet tall and frail from his $3,000 a month heart condition, clutched his sketchbook, Keanu Reeves' autograph to Liam, "Keep fighting like a hero, a treasure earned through Rosa's courage." The Justice for Rosa movement had restored her job and raised $250,000, but nothing prepared them for what came next. A knock at the door startled Rosa. Keanu Reeves, his 6-foot frame casual in jeans and a leather jacket, stepped in, holding a 3-foot John Wick poster, signed, "To Liam, my favorite artist." "Keanu, heard there's a superstar artist here," he said, grinning. Liam's eyes widened, his small hands trembling as he beamed. Rosa's tears streamed as Liam, defying his weakness, scrambled from his bed to hug Keanu, his arms barely reaching the actor's waist. "Kid, your drawings could inspire my next film," Keanu said, kneeling to meet Liam's gaze, admiring the sketchbook's John Wick scenes crafted under a 40-watt lamp. A nurse, offering Liam a frosty root beer, a quintessential American treat, wiped her eyes. Joining 50 staff members crowding the hallway, their cheers echoing through the 120-foot corridor. Liam, clutching the poster, pulled out his viral letter, sent via hospital volunteers, and now viewed 3 million times on X. "Mr. Reeves," he read, voice quivering, "you saved my mom. You're my hero." The room fell silent, Rosa's sobs mingling with the staff's applause as Keanu nodded, visibly moved. "Liam, you and your mom are the real heroes," he replied, ruffling his curls. The moment, captured by a nurse's phone, exploded on X as Keanu for Liam, trending with 500,000 mentions in 24 hours. Americans from Seattle to Miami shared it, a Miami barista tweeting, "This is what kindness looks like." The hospital scene, grounded in American warmth root beer, staff camaraderie. Liam's 4-foot courage radiated hope. Rosa, her Navy nurse heart swelling, saw her promise to Liam, sparked in the 30,000-square-foot Sunset Palace ballroom, now fulfilled beyond dreams. The $5,000 hotel bonus and 20 an hour diner job paled beside this her son, hugging his hero, believing in miracles. As Keanu left, promising to frame Liam's next sketch, the hospital glowed under 80-degree of stars. The cheer Keanu for Liam wave on X signaled that Rosa and Liam's story, born from a mother's love and a star's compassion, would inspire a nation to embrace kindness. Rosa Alvarez stood at the heart of a 5-acre Griffith Park barbecue, the 80-degree Los Angeles sun casting a golden glow over 400 neighbors savoring hot dogs and lemonade. Just weeks ago, she was a janitor at the Sunset Palace Hotel, pushing a 60-pound cleaning cart to fund her 8-year-old son, Liam's $3,000 monthly heart treatments. Now, her life had transformed. The Fictional Justice for Rosa movement, sparked by Keanu Reeves' viral X post, had raised $250,000 through a GoFundMe campaign, securing Liam's medical care in a 600-bed hospital 12 miles away. Maria Gonzalez, a local diner owner, offered Rosa a 20-an-hour job, a leap from her 15-an-hour hotel wage, promising stability for her 800-square-foot apartment. The hotel, battered by 1 million retweets condemning its firing of Rosa for requesting Keanu's autograph, donated $75,000 to a children's hospital, and rewrote policies to prioritize compassion over rigid protocol. Rosa, once invisible, was now a symbol of courage, her Navy nurse resilience shining through. At the barbecue, Rosa took the microphone, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat. One kind act, a $5 donation, a smile, a moment of patience can change a life, she urged, her words echoing American values of empathy and community. Pay it forward, for Liam, for everyone. The crowd cheered, and Pay It Forward for Liam trended for weeks, with Americans sharing stories of small gestures, a Seattle barista buying coffee for a stranger, an Ohio veteran donating $50 to a local charity. Liam's letter to Keanu, penned under a 40-watt hospital lamp, Mr. Reeves, you saved my mom. You're my hero had gone viral with 3 million views, inspiring donations from Texas nurses, $100 to Chicago teachers, $10. The hotel's Ms. Helen Porter, once cold, had donated $3,000 to Liam's fund. Her redemption, a testament to second chances. Rosa's promise, sparked in the 30,000-square-foot ballroom under 4th of July fireworks, had ignited a nation's heart. This story teaches profound lessons. First, kindness is a ripple, not a drop. Rosa's request for Keanu's autograph, a 3-foot John Wick poster now hanging in Liam's 10 by 12-foot hospital room, showed that one act can reshape lives. Keanu's empathy, fueled by his own grief, proved that heroes exist off-screen, a lesson for Americans who cherish everyday champions. Second, resilience, like Rosa's Navy-honed grit, can turn despair into hope, facing the loss of her job. She walked 2 miles in the 75-degree rough night, clutching Liam's sketchbook, refusing to break. Third, community is America's strength. From the barbecue's 400 attendees to the GoFundMe's $250 to $1,000 strangers became family, reflecting the nation's giving spirit. Finally, accountability matters. The hotel's $75,000 donation and policy shift showed that public outcry, amplified by X, can right wrongs. A nod to UM's activism, Rosa's journey, from a janitor to a beacon of hope, underscores that empathy transcends status. Her courage, Keanu's compassion, and a community's embrace turned a single promise into a movement. Unlike the original tale, where Maria's story ended with a premiere, Rosa's explicit call to action, Pay It Forward for Liam, empowers readers to act, making this narrative more inspiring. It proves that, in America, kindness creates waves far beyond a single autograph, binding strangers in shared humanity. On the hospital roof, Rosa and Liam, 4 feet tall and clutching his signed poster, watched 4th of July fireworks explode in the 85-degree sky, their colors reflecting in Liam's hopeful eyes. The I-405 freeway hummed below, but up here, it was just them, dreaming of heroes. Rosa, once invisible, had changed a nation by keeping her promise. Liam whispered, "Mom, Keanu said I'm an artist." Rosa smiled, tears falling, knowing their story would inspire millions. To our audience, thank you for joining Rosa and Liam's journey. Your support fuels these stories of hope and resilience. If this tale warmed your heart, hit that subscribe button. New stories of compassion await every week. Share Jamasher, Pay It Forward for Liam. And let's keep kindness trending. Together, we prove that one small act, like a $5 gift or a shared post, can light up the world, just as Rosa and Keanu did under those 85-degree stars.